You don't need surgery to get rid of your man boobs. I'm gonna tell you this right now. See, I was reading a book As a Man Thinketh, right? And in the book, it talks about the part in the book where it talked about a man will give up all his riches and to give up his gluttonous desires, right? So what this is talking about is like, you know, people will trade in money, trade in all these things, short-term type of things. They'll use things like Ozempic, they'll take surgery, all these different things, than to actually build habits to get the physique that they want, right? And it's the same with gyno, right? With gyno, you know, I'm sure there's probably cases where like there's extreme cases where like I assume you've already done the work. You know, you've already got down to a low enough body fat and you've built the muscle around the area and you still have gyno, and it's still like persistent, then sure, you know, maybe you can get surgery if it's like that, like an extreme case. But most times it's like a lot of people, I feel like they kind of just opt out and try to go for the easy way out, right? They try and find like a shortcut, but there is no shortcut to this, right? And you know, before I go on, I just want to say, if you want to book a one-on-one coaching call, hit the link in the description and we'll see if it makes sense to work together so that we can help you reach your fitness goals for the year of 2025. All right, so hit that link in the description and we'll see if it makes sense to work together. Make sure you like this shit up, boost it up to the algorithm, and make sure you subscribe. But back to scheduled programming though. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, the thing about gyno is that a lot of it has to do with, you know, you're probably at a higher body fat percentage. You probably, you know, there's certain foods that are probably causing it, right? So instead of having to like, you know, add or take away things, why don't you just like build habits to actually combat this thing, right? So for example, you gotta maybe eat in a calorie deficit. You gotta get to a low enough body fat, right? So the way you can do this is, you know, calculating your weight and height, type it into Google, it will tell you how much you need to eat to be in a calorie deficit, right? Another way you can combat, you know, the gyno look is like, especially like the most effective way I think is you have to build the muscle around the area, right? So if you build the muscle around the area, it'll actually improve the appearance of your chest. Like for example, people often will say, we'll go towards bench press and they think bench press is going to be the answer. But honestly, in my personal experience, like, I'm not gonna lie, I had a little bit of like the man boobs in high school and stuff like that, right? But what helped me kind of like transform them into like pecs to make a more appealing chest was I was doing push-ups. Like during COVID, you know, when we were in lockdown, I literally was doing 100 push-ups like every single day. Well, no, it was 500 push-ups. Like, it was 500 push-ups a day. So what I would do is I would wake up, I would divide it by, like, low-key can't do math right now. My brain is low-key cooked. But like, I would do 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, and it would add up to 500, right? And so I would do this every single day. And and the days I didn't work, I would try to aim for 1,000, right? So I was doing this for like months and months, right? And I noticed my chest started to transform. Like, I noticed the most improvement on my chest was from doing like push-ups and doing things like dips, and also doing like chest flies and stuff like that, like the downward ones, because that works like the lower chest, right? So doing the flies, dips, and push-ups, I'm telling you, those things will help you build a stronger chest, right? And you know, doing other different workouts like for example, bench press, you know, you got your in the pec deck kind of thing, like those things will also help too. But those main three, like the dips, push-ups, and your cable flies, those are going to be key to like improving the image of your chest, right? Rather than the first thing that comes to your mind shouldn't be like, oh, I need surgery. No. Focus on building the habits, right? Create a consistent routine to where you're constantly, you know, you're working out, you're actually you're working towards building a physique, right? And you're actually making sure you're eating properly too, right? And if you still feel like the gyno is like unbearable to a point where it's like, you feel like you've done all the work and you feel like it's like, you know, to a point where it's still bothering you, then sure, then get the surgery if you want to, right? But I'm saying that shouldn't be like your first option, right? But that's all I really have to say for this video. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Send this to someone who needs to hear it. And if you're struggling with man boobs or gyno, make sure you hit that link in the description. I got you. We'll come up with a custom plan that makes sense for you so that we can help you reach your fitness goals for the year 2025. And remember, there's nothing landing. I'm playing small. Catch you guys next video. See ya.